So this is just a quick video on how to cut down a tree. If you've never cut one down, I would suggest not cutting down a big one to begin with. You want to cut down a small or a medium tree just to get the hang of things. Otherwise, you should probably contact a professional landscaper and have them take it down. Otherwise, you're going to end up on somebody's blooper video reel. So, tree I'm cutting down is about 10 inches in diameter. You could easily do the same process for something of, up to maybe 15 inches in diameter, but anything over that, I'd call a professional. You're going to need these materials for the job. I'm going to talk more about these later, but just make sure you have these on hand.
Okay, so this is just a quick run through on how to cut down a tree. Not too exciting, but at least it'll give you some ideas. So in this case, I've got a little Craftsman, a Sears Craftsman 16-inch. It's a 36cc. It's not too exciting, but you'll want to make sure that your chain is correct. Follow your instructions in your instruction manual on making sure your chain is sharp. In my case, I have to mix my fuel, so you'll follow the instructions on mixing your oil fuel together. Obviously, you're going to fill up your chainsaw before you get started. Make sure also you have your bar oil. In this case, I'm just using, just sample bar and chain oil. Nothing too exciting about that. Easy to get at most stores. Obviously, you're going to want your gloves and some set of eyewear to make sure you follow your eye protection. So in this case, you can see I've got plenty of trees in my yard, and I've got to cut those trees down from time to time. This particular right here is the one I'm going to work on. You can see as we go up that the top of the tree is not in good shape, and so I'm just going to cut it down before it starts to go into leaf, so that it's less cleanup on my part. My concern here is the light pole. I don't want the light pole to get smashed. So as you come in here and you look up, you can see that by default the tree is leaning already, so you got to take the lean into compensation. And if I follow over and watch where the lean is going to go, it should, if I were to just cut it flat, it's going to land over there somewhere, which is not quite where I want it to land. I want it to land over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this tree so that you can kind of get an idea of how to cut it. First of all, I want to cut it at a comfortable height for me to stand and have very solid footing. So that means I'm going to be somewhere in this space here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a vertical slice in the direction I want the tree to fall. I'm going to go that way. And then I'm going to notch out a piece like this so that by default the tree is going to lean that way. Now, normally I would want to check the weather. If the wind is blowing, that's going to create a problem. I don't have any leaves, so it's not going to catch any of the wind. That's why I'm cutting it down now. And if you needed to, you'd tie a rope on it to make sure the rope falls the right direction. Now, when it falls, you're going to see that it's going to hit some limbs. It's going to hit some limbs up there, which is going to push it to the right by default. But again, I'm pretty confident it's going to land over there. So I'm going to notch it the way I want the tree to fall. And then from behind, I'm going to break the back, right? So I'm going to break the back of the tree here. It's going to be slightly above where the notch is, right? So you can see the notch is going to come this way. I'm going to break the back of the tree so that it starts to go. And because I want it to fall to the left, I'm going to leave this part of the tree last. So I'm not going to cut it even. I'm going to cut it on the back to start its break, and then I'm going to cut it on this side so that the tree weakens on this side and hangs tighter on this side, hopefully pulling it towards the area where I want it to drop. So I'm going to, again, cut out the notch, and then I'm going to break the back, and then I'm going to come in and notch it on this side because I want this to be the last part of the tree to give, hence pulling it more this direction. And again, because the wind's not blowing and it's not a very big tree, I think that process is going to work fine without having to rope it down. So let's see. wanted it to land. Perfect. That right where I want it to land, went down, missed the tree, put it right where it was supposed to go.